Blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Looks like our friend Bill Geen has, disappeared, has no-showed us, but that's good because it's more time together. At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Do want to remind you that coming up on Sunday, the big enchilada, keeping Idaho red. No, we're not talking about the commies. We're talking about the Republicans. Conservatism, there'll be a big rally at the State House beginning at 1 o'clock. You've got Representative Christy Zitto. You've got Greg Pruitt. You've got, I was going to say Tom Cruise, but Tom Munns. A lot of folks that we've listened to over the years, they'll be speaking along with others. I'll be there, hopefully not getting a lot of sun, but we're looking forward to rallying the base. Of course, in Idaho, it's fairly easy. It's just, I don't know what the correct analogy would be, really. When we're taking a look at the election coming up, it's going to be a red tsunami. Hopefully it will be that way across the country. On Friday, the Ambrose School, Promote Our Schools, Secure Our Future. It's been a while. It's been like 3 or 4 years since we've been at Ambrose. I know they've got a lot going on, and they're looking to help folks at the Boise Rescue Mission. We'll be part of that coming up Friday, talking about the good things here in Idaho. Joining us now, well, he's back. Our great friend William Geen. He wasn't, but he's with us. I never doubted that you wouldn't be with us, sir. Good morning.
Hey, I knew you guys would call me on this line, so taking care of some things away from my desk while I talk to you. If you don't mind, it's good to get up and move around a little bit in the morning.
I'm with you. Now, you've been highly critical of the president. Let's start with the big one, getting rid of the quote-unquote anchor babies. Your thoughts?
Well, we support that. I mean, we support ending birthright citizenship and have for many years, and we're really glad to hear President Trump return to our rhetoric, our issues. When he needs to stir up the base, when he needs to win an election, he starts talking like William Geen of Allipac, and I guess that's good because it raises awareness about things, but it's really only good if he means it and does what he says he's going to do. And so, we're taking it with a big grain of salt because, I hope things turn out well in the elections, but one of the problems we've had in the elections is a lot of our people that pay very close attention to what the politicians say and what they do. A lot of people just catch the part that they say and not the part about what they actually do. There's been a demoralization in the base. DACA, he didn't end DACA on day one. The DACA amnesty for illegals is still there. There's no wall. There's no funding for a wall. And we spent the first 2 years of the Trump administration's presidency fighting to stop the same type of amnesty bills that we had to fight under Obama and Bush. So that has demoralized a certain segment of the base. How much, I can't tell you. 10%, 25%, somewhere in there. They'll probably all come out and vote because that's what we do, But as far as volunteering, contributing, and participation and going to bat and, doing a lot of things people did for Trump in the race 2 years ago, there's a lag there. So I believe that what you've heard and what we've all just heard about birthright citizenship and ending it is to address that specific phenomenon that Trump knows exactly what we know from looking at the polling data. There's a certain segment of Republicans that are like, hey, so you didn't do what you said you were going to do on immigration, and so I don't care about you enough to come out and vote or participate this year, and let's just see what happens. And it's like, hey, we're going to end anchor babies and birthright citizenship. Well, that sounds good. I'll come out for that. But whether it actually happens, is anybody's guess because it didn't happen. And the reason we now have 3 illegal alien caravans, including one that even the biased pro-open borders, pro-illegal immigrant, pro-amnesty Associated Press reports is carrying guns and bombs towards our border, is because Trump let the first one in. He told everybody, he said he was going to order the Department of Homeland Security to repel the caravan, and that's not what happened. They just didn't want them marching through the gates and saying, looky here, in Trump's face, and everybody being able to know that they waltzed in. They made them stop in Mexico, fill out some paperwork, and then they let them in groups of 5 and 10 at a time. And that's why the new ones are coming, because they got what they want. Now Trump's saying that he's sending the military and he's going to build tent cities. Well, that's great because Allie Paxton's saying build tent cities, build tent detention centers at the border Don't let the illegals go. Don't catch and release them into the interior of the United States, just like Bush and Obama. Great. Now he's repeating what we're saying. But you know what, Kevin? If he stops the caravans, puts them in some tent detention facilities, and then lets them trickle out 5 or 10 at a time into the interior of the United States and get what they want, it's going to have the same impact, and it's going to increase more caravans and more people in. Because when you give people what they want, then they do more of it. And that's all there is to it. And that's what's been happening under Trump. So it's great to hear him say he's going to end birthright citizenship. And I'll do everything I can to make sure that birthright citizenship, which is awful for our country, is stopped. But when it comes to Trump, you'll have to allow me to exercise a high degree of skepticism, because he's shown us on a repetitive basis there's a real big difference between what Trump says and what Trump actually does.
Our great friend William Gein joining us from Alley-Pack. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Let's get to the caravan. We've got 3 marching towards us. They're coming to America. Will we stop them? The president is sending armed troops to the border. Your thoughts?
Well, he sent troops last time, and there's some discussion about not allowing them to go on, but they were told no contact with illegals. Obama sent the National Guard to the border. Same protocols. Bush sent the National Guard to the border. Each time under Trump, Obama, and Bush, the pretense that the border, that there was, well, the suggestion was that they were sending troops to the border to deter or stop the illegals, but that's not what they're ordered to do. They're ordered to play a backup role for the Border Patrol, and then it's claimed that the Border Patrol can arrest more of them because the National Guard is back manning phones and washing vehicles and grilling burgers. So, but it doesn't really deter them. And it doesn't really match the rhetoric. Trump is matching our rhetoric again that this is an invasion of the United States. We agree. And the Constitution of the United States, it doesn't say, there's no, first of all, so everybody's clear, there's no birthright citizenship in the United States Constitution. The 14th Amendment says that children born here under the jurisdiction thereof are to be given, or to be U.S. citizens. And illegal immigrants are not under the jurisdiction of the United States in the definition of the word at the time that provision was written and put into the Constitution in the 1800s. And if you go back and you read exactly what the senators who in the reps that passed the 14th Amendment said, it was not intended to apply to foreign-born dignitaries or immigrants or anywhere else. But it does clearly say in the United States Constitution, Article 4, that all states shall be protected from invasion. And currently, under President Bush, our states are not protected from invasion. Catch and release continues. The number of illegal crossings are back at a historic high, possibly even higher than under the Obama administration. They continue to be invaded under Obama. We continue to be invaded under Bush. Here we are being invaded, just like Trump said. It's an invasion. I'm glad to hear him say it. But when he says that, he has Article 4 of the United States Constitution, which says that the president has to protect all states from invasion and repel them. That's what our military is for. If I were president, I would order the military to not let a fox cross that border illegally tomorrow night, and they could do it. The United States military has the manpower, the technology, and the skills and the responsibilities to protect all states from invasion, and we turn them loose to do it, they would do it. Press would pitch a fit, and illegals would stop. Drug smugglers would stop. They'd barely be able to get anybody through. But that's not what's happening here. What's happening is they come out and say, oh, I've ordered DHS to repel this caravan, and I've sent troops to the border. Yet they come right in, and no matter what the politicians say, the same agenda continues to roll, and we really wished it was different under Trump, but it's not. And while I hope the base rallies and comes out and votes for Republicans, including Rhino pro-amnesty Republicans like Lindsey Graham and Paul Ryan tomorrow or next week, the truth is there's a lot of people in the base who are like, this is not what we were told was going to happen. So the caravans are coming, and the reason they're coming is because President Donald Trump let the first caravan in, and now more are coming because they know that other one got in, and they believe they will get in as well. And as an American citizen who studies this issue very closely, I would say that they're most likely correct.
What do you say to people, our great friend William Gein joining us from Alley-Pack, Kevin Miller in the morning here on KIDO Talk Radio, that say that we need the migrant workers, they're doing jobs that Americans won't do? Is there a way, is there a compromise here where we have people coming in legally and we just don't have the floodgates, and we have the issues with crime, with medical, with education that the press doesn't report?
Well, first of all, there's no jobs that Americans won't do. When we ask people to pin those down, they'll say something like farming or something like that, but only 6% of illegal immigrants work in agriculture. And there are no jobs Americans won't do. Americans have always done their jobs, and we've been able to get along throughout the 200-plus years history of this country and get all the jobs done. And you can go to places that have very few illegal immigrants, like South Carolina and West Virginia, and all of the jobs are getting done by Americans. So that whole argument that Americans won't do isn't, what we're talking about. Second, at 22-plus million illegal aliens, on top of 1.6 million legal immigrants being brought into the country per year, the entire demographics and political and cultural structure of the United States is in upheaval and being overthrown, which was specifically promised to us during the 1965 Immigration Reform Act that would not happen. And you're not talking about, they're just coming to work jobs that people won't do. What you're talking about is the entire control of the United States is being shifted from the people who live here over to the left, the socialists, and the illegal immigrants that they're bringing in for that purpose. And so it is an overthrow, a type of revolution, now I won't say bloodless revolution because many people are being killed by illegal immigrants, but it's a type of revolution and overthrow of the United States of America. And for it to happen, our existing immigration laws and Constitution, including Article 4, are all being thrown out the door. And that's a much, much more serious thing than, they're just coming here to be okay with this.
Finally, you're in North Carolina. That's a swing state. I'd say it's the Ohio of this century. What's going on in the Tar Heel state? How do you see the Republicans and Democrats playing that out during the midterms?
Well, we don't have a real big Senate fight going on, and there's nobody on the presidential ballot, so it's all just congressional reps. And there's not really a lot of sparks flying, maybe in a couple of places. So you don't have that type of higher-up stuff that really turns out voters. So it comes down to base force, the conservative base versus the Democrat base. And there's a lot of energy on the Democratic base. There are three major things that I want all of the Republicans, conservatives, or simply just non-Democrats, non-socialists to understand. And we're trying to get this information to every lawmaker. So please, if you hear this, and you can make sure that even your Republican state house or some of your Congress critics, we got a couple of pro-amnesty congressional reps there in Idaho that need to understand something. When everyone looks at the vote totals on election night, part of the vote totals received by the left, and I don't know if it's going to be a blue wave, red wave, or stalemate or whatever, but buried in those numbers, a significant portion of the left's votes this year will be generated by non-citizens. Illegal immigrants are voting in large numbers, and non-citizen immigrants are all committing felonies of registration and voting because there are no safeguards on the county, state, or federal level to prevent them from doing so. They're not detected. They're not written about. They're there, and they'll be voting Democrat, 90+%. I'm sure somewhere in the country there's some illegal immigrants that vote Republican, but not many. So when you look at the totals on election night, just remember, there's a chunk in there that you can't identify. Could be larger than you think. Could be larger than anybody thought. But the non-citizens, they'll be voting Democrat. 2, Silicon Valley, Facebook, Twitter, Google. These companies are more powerful than anybody could imagine. Their control over public opinions and what information flows and what opinion flows and what does not travel is huge. And while they're allowing the violent, menacing terrorist group Antifa to reign supreme on Facebook and Twitter, everybody on the right has been taken out, a huge list. And if you're not being fully taken off the platforms or deplatformed like InfoWars and many other groups, you're being shadow banned, where you're on there talking to people, and it seems like you just never can really generate much of a sizable group. But if you're on the left, one person could stir up a whole state. So there is a bias from these powerful companies that I would argue are as influential and as powerful as the invention of atomic energy and atomic weapons are being deployed to shift the elections to the left and to give the Democrat Socialists full and permanent control of the United States government, our laws, and our policies. And so when you look at the returns on election night, remember that the Silicon Valley robber barons in San Francisco have exercised their control over the American public to swing this election several percent points their way. So we want to make sure everybody knows that Silicon Valley and the non-citizen voters are a big part of this. And the third thing is that, yes, Republicans, there's a big demoralization in a certain section of your base because instead of going up there and getting funding for a wall and building the wall and holding on to the budget to get that funding and to enforce our existing immigration and border laws and do the things that Donald Trump told us was going to be done, something else has happened that's 180 degrees different than what we were promised. And that demoralization is going to have an impact. So those are the three main factors
right.
that we see are in play that can make a blue wave very possible for Democrats. And it won't, people say, it's going to cycle back. It's going to cycle between Republicans and Democrats. You got to understand, when it cycles blue for you, like California, it never comes back. Once the Democrat Socialists take control using illegal imported voters and non-citizens and these new technologies, it never swings back red. They just keep piling more people on you from around the world, and you never have another voice in your country again like Europe. So that's what we're facing here.
Well,
people are a little uncomfortable.
Right. That's why we've got so many people moving in from California. William Gain, if people want to get a hold of you, what can they do, sir?
We got a lot of great candidates running this year that need our support. Candidates that are in federal office that sound like I do, that say, hey, well, let's enforce the existing immigration laws and not pass amnesty, and we really need your support for them. We've got them running in every state, and we can send you emails about who they are and what you can do if you join our alerts at alipac.us. That's www.alipac.us. We're Americans for Legal Immigration, and we really appreciate your support.
Always good to hear from you, sir.
Thank you, Kevin. Good luck on Election Day.
You too. Our great friend William Gain, the true believer. Pro-Life joins us now with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, William Gain, he's quite the guy. I like him, and of course I get his emails and things like that. But anyway, the 14th Amendment cannot be overturned by the president's executive order. Just because a president or any citizen or a governor or any person interprets the Constitution correctly does not negate an amendment. That's all the president would be doing, would just be interpreting the 14th Amendment in its correct form. We've been wrongfully allowing the 14th Amendment to be used for people just coming here and having a baby, neither of the parents being a U.S. citizen. Now, it would be better if Congress were to take up the issue and say that you had to have at least one parent a U.S. citizen before you can be a U.S. citizen. And if both parents are non-U.S. citizens, if you're born on a U.S. ship, in a U.S. territory, anywhere, you cannot be a U.S. citizen.
Now, even a U.S. territory.
Yeah, if you're born in Puerto Rico, Guam, anywhere, you have to have at least one.
That would include a military base.
Right. Rightfully, say some woman gets on a Navy ship somewhere off of a rowboat somewhere, and her baby's born on that ship. Does that make her a U.S. citizen? Now, the liberals are going to say yes. She was born on U.S. Control. Now, they're just totally sicking out of it because it's not logical and not right, and that anybody can be born I was touching a U.S. soldier when my baby was born, so that makes my baby a U.S. citizen. This is ridiculous how they're interpreting that, and it's very
well.
wrongful.
It's changed the entire demographics of America, just like the immigration bill that Kennedy passed in the 60s. And my favorite line from Patrick Joseph Buchanan is, "This all happened and nobody voted on it. No one voted on this at all."
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, President Trump has the right to interpret the 14th Amendment correctly as it's written and as it was the original intention. I want to say one more thing about Proposition 2. Proposition 2, if you vote for it, you're voting for the mandate of abortifacients given to people that are on Medicaid, and you're voting for abortion if you vote for Proposition 2.
Well, that's a stretch.
No, that isn't a stretch.
We haven't heard that one before.
Well, that's the truth.
Now, let me ask you a question then.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Would you hang on for a minute?
Sure.
I got carried away. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And don't forget, coming up on Friday, we are going to be, oh boy, can't wait for this one, back to the Ambrose School in Meridian on Locust Grove and Chinden, promoting our school, securing our future. Brought to you by CapEd Credit Union and Team Mazda Subaru. All right, back to pro-life. Kevin Miller in the morning here. So you'd admit that Governor Otter is the most pro-life governor we've ever had in this state, right?
Well, if he is,
yes or no?
He could be, but none of the governors have been pro-life. That's the problem, and he's not pro-life.
Look at his record on pro-life legislation. Our friend David Ripley would disagree with you.
No, he's voted for every regulation of murder. All of the bills but he will not go to where you're going to say, listen, the unborn child has legal personhood rights. I'm going to stop abortion totally. That's the
well, I don't think there's any politician in America that would do that, unfortunately.
There isn't, me, but that's the problem. You can't even.
Well, are you a public politician or a crusader?
I'm both.
I would say you're a crusader.
Well, listen, federal Medicaid funds go to fund contraceptives. Birth control
no, I
pills.
get it. But that was my point. Since you're not going to agree with me about Governor Otter, you've had a ton of time here today, young man, and you don't get that service anywhere else, brother.
I know, and I appreciate it. And I hope the unborn babies appreciate it because they have to be saved. Nobody's standing up for them in the legislature, the governor, anybody.
Pro-life, we will see you on the radio, and we'll see you Sunday.
All right.
And by the way, you can join us Sunday, big rally at the State House, Keeping Idaho Red. Harvey and Terry from State College, Pennsylvania. You're next, but is it a trick or is it a treat? Joining us now, Tanya J. Powers of Fox News Radio. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So Halloween, are we ever too old to do it? Or, do you ever go from, oh, isn't that sweet to, you reach a certain age and maybe it's time to hang up the tights?
I always learn volumes about you whenever we get to chat, and today's no exception already. Thank you for that mental image, by the way, that I can't unsee now.
What, me with the tights? It's like me in a turkey outfit. Hey,
know.
And by the way, kids that are coming to my house tonight, I've already got the candy. I bought them. I've got them some cough drops and antacids.
Those are not on the top list of most wanted Halloween candies.
Here you go, little kid. Here's some Rolaids. Here's some Halls.
I mean, it's like right there by Vegemite. Okay, I mean, you probably don't. I'm not telling you how to run your house. I'm just saying, you might want to rethink that one. So, yes, tonight is Halloween, and there will be a lot of trick or treaters out, little kids who are, go and big kids who are going to go, enjoy the night. Reminder. Be careful. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, and it sort of goes without saying. However, just to, remind you that this is actually the most dangerous night for kids as far as being hit by a car. Twice as likely. Wow. Children are twice as likely to be hit by a car and killed on Halloween than any other day of the year. And that is a statistic that comes from Safe Kids Worldwide. That's a group that is committed to preventing accidental childhood injury. So they keep stats on this kind of stuff. They also have a really good checklist if you're, making sure you're, safe and when your kids go out and that kind of thing, some tips to remember. That's on their website at safekids.org. You can check that out. Some of those are obviously, make sure they can be seen when they're out in their costume. You can get some reflective tape. You can also, if you go to the dollar store, you can find those glow sticks. Sometimes if you, get those things and you can attach them to the costume, or maybe like the glow necklaces and have them wear that. They can be seen a lot easier by vehicles.
Wow.
one of their other tips is to take, if kids are 12 or under,
Right.
It's best if an adult goes with them.
Right.
If not, if they're a little older than that, they need to go in groups.
Right. Tanya J. Powers joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning. KIDO Talk Radio. But back to your, I think the most important tip is to realize that there are little ghosts and goblins out. And here in Idaho, it gets, like everywhere, I guess, but here particularly, it gets dark early, like the time of the year. And that is so important to stay off the phones, to drive slowly, whether you're in a parking lot, whether it's trunk or treat, whether it's in a neighborhood. You can't emphasize that enough. Just one little slip, and, you can change your life and, unfortunately, the life of somebody else, a child, for many, many years, maybe forever.
Absolutely. It is, that's no joke. So, drive safely, like you said, go slowly, even if it's not dark yet. Most kids wait until it's dark to go out. There are a lot of parents who will take small children out before it gets dark. It's a little less scary for the little tiny ones. Sure. And they still get to participate in the day. But a lot of times, they'll be out, in the hour right before sunset. That's not uncommon. So, don't think, okay, well, I've got a little while to go. My neighborhood's probably not going to be as, well-traveled with little children on foot tonight. Just go slow either way, because you never know when they're going to be out. And, kids they're not thinking, okay, I need to safely go to the intersection and cross with the light. They're thinking, hey, that's the house with the good candy over there. Let's run over.
Yeah, the Kevin Miller house with the halls and the Rolaids and stuff. And
not the Rolaids. No, you know what?
Here you go, little kid. You're going to use this. You're going to use this after the candy. Here's maybe I can get some of those Pepto tablets for them too. What's up, little kid?
If you give that out this year, I can guarantee you can probably just save your money next year and keep the light off. Nobody will mind. I don't think they're going to come back asking, is this the Rolade house? I'm out.
They'll say, oh, it's Kevin Miller. I'm so thankful for those antacids, sir. Anybody can get candy and such. Not anybody can give you a Rolaids for trick or treat. By the way, are you dressed up today?
No, I just went as a reporter today. That's my outfit. Did you dress up?
My outfit is the one, according to Mrs. Miller, I wear every day. A guy looking for a kickball tournament.
What does that look like exactly? This is radio. We got to have a mental image here.
Shorts,
not tights, right?
Short. Shorts.
Who brought it up?
Tennis shoes and a long sleeve shirt. Hopefully one without food stains. And sometimes you have the food stains, so that's my outfit.
Okay, well, good luck in your wiffle ball tournament, and let me know how the Rolaids go tonight. I can't wait to see how those go over.
Let me know about the tights. I can send you a picture.
No. That's you know what? It's fine. It's all good. I can use my imagination.
Right. Tanya J. Powers, we appreciate you. You have a great night.
You too.
All right, back to your phone calls, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Harvey, thanks for your patience in Boise on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Harvey.
Morning, Kevin. How you doing?
I don't know after that segment. You tell me.
It sounds like you're doing about a 7.4.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, on this 14th Amendment, people need to study their history just a little bit. And I invite everybody to check out Senator Jacob Howard's speech to Congress on passing the 14th Amendment, which was intended for African Americans and Native Americans the ability to vote because they was being suppressed by Democrat South states. Okay? Just before passing the 14th Amendment, and you can find this on the internet, okay, Jacob Howard addressed Congress with this speech. Every person born within the limits of the United States and subject to their jurisdiction is by virtue of natural law and national law a citizen of the United States. This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of person. The intent is there. So,
I would agree with
the
you.
executive order to abolish the 14th Amendment is not necessary. All we need is an executive order to properly interpret the law that was passed for the reason it was passed.
Well, it's bye-bye 14th Amendment then.
Well, no, it's not bye-bye 14th Amendment. It's interpret. See, the problem is, back in the 60s, we don't even know which government entity decided to interpret it as that includes anchor babies. It doesn't. The intent was not there. It's not bye-bye 14th Amendment. It's everybody who was born in the United States, who was a citizen of the United States. And I'll go back and read this one more time. This does not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers. Ambassador comes over here and his wife has a kid. The kid's not a U.S. citizen. What that simply means is if you're born in the United States, you're a citizen. If you're an African American born here, and that's what it was intended for, the African Americans in 1867 were being suppressed by the Democrat South. The American Native Indians were being suppressed. And that's what it was designed for, Kevin. It wasn't designed for anybody who wants to swim the Pacific, the Gulf of Mexico, or march up through all of these South American countries.
Harvey, great call, and we're going to throw it out to everybody. Thank you for the research, sir.
God bless.
God bless. All right. Terry from State College, Pennsylvania, with Kevin Miller on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Terrence.
Good morning, Kevin. You know, Treasure Valley, everybody's listening to the man, the myth, the legend. There's no doubt about it. You know, I mean, everything that we've covered today from all, in all aspects of the 14th Amendment has just been nothing less than remarkable. When you have people like Chris on, you know, you've got two very virtuous men because it's always about the truth, the message, what is good. It's never about me. Look what I know. I. It's about the message. You know, Kevin, Vanessa was born in Germany on a U.S. military base. Father was American. Mother was German. The fact that she was born in Germany, she's still an American. Hey, well then, let the Mexicans, let whoever, the illegals come here and have their babies, but they're still going to be of their own nationality. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I think Chris hit it on the head when he said the president is going to have to do this end run or get Congress in motion here. But this does need to go to the Supreme Court. It needs to be settled once and for all. This arguments back and forth on what is right, what's wrong. It's wearing. It's been abused in every aspect. And your last caller put it well. He read it. Listen up, America. This is what the intent was for the 14th Amendment. If you're born here and your parents are not American citizens, your children are not American citizens. So if you're out there, you're listening, too bad, say la vie, take a hike. Kevin, you have to admit that this is going to take a lot of burden off of us once this is settled. And the fact that we now have virtuous men back on the bench in the Supreme Court, you know, this is going to be resolved. And I think it's something that will help us to move on. It's not going to be received well by the left. And, I mean, it's got to be. If you look at it, you know, we've got a third caravan already pulling together. That's the damage. That's the belief that the Democrats have sent to the South Side. You know, hey, come on up, no problem. You can all come in. And these legals that are in here have a chip on their shoulder. Many of them do. Some don't. I know a lot of them, as you know. Hey, dude, suck it up, Buttercup, if you're going south. You know, get the wall up, get the buses rolling. And if you want to be an American citizen, you do it according to the law. You have that opportunity just like everybody else. But, Kevin, the big question I have for you today is I want to know, what costume are you wearing tonight?
I only have one costume, and that's the turkey outfit.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you've got something special in mind. We'll see you on Channel 7 tomorrow.
I doubt that, but anyway.
Kevin, my wife's a citizen. She was born on a military base, which is sovereign territory in a foreign country. That doesn't complicate it. That only expands it and it helps us understand the 14th even further.
Agreed,
Let's get
Terry.
this right, everybody. Kevin, you're doing a good job.
God bless you, Terry. Take care.
You have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you. Joining us now, publisher of the Gem State Patriot, the sweet prince of the Treasure Valley Tea Party, Bob. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you today?
I am living the dream. I'm getting ready. I'm going to go out and get all my antacids and, let's see, some cough drops for the kids tonight. I want to stand out. What's up, little kid? Here you go. Here's some Hall's eucalyptus.
Well, be careful for those politicians coming around offering you all this free advice now that we have this tremendous political climate going on with Jordan and Little.
Well, really, it's going to be over, though. I mean, let's face it. Paulette Jordan as a candidate is a joke. Mr. Hardy really hit the nail on the head yesterday when he said she spent more on hotels and everything than on commercials. She's not a serious candidate. She's going to be a documentary film star. And in my opinion, it's a young person who jumped into a race, is full of themselves, and gosh knows what's going to happen. I mean, it could be 75-20. It could be 80-20. This could destroy the Democrats. And you take a look at the lieutenant governor's race, that's only going to help the Republicans there. And even though, from what I hear, there's over $1 million of anti-Sherry Ibarra ads being aired against her, the Republican brand is so strong, she might win despite the IEA funding the big money against her. Your thoughts?
Well, we all talk about Jordan, but the issue I do believe is underlying this whole thing is the fact that we may not get Jordan, which would be horrible for the state, but what we're going to wind up with is another 4 years of crony politicians like Brad Little and Governor Otter, who are sitting here talking about let's get Medicaid expansion in here because we'll get more jobs and it'll improve the economy. We already have an improved economy. We don't need any more people here for jobs. We have plenty of jobs. We have more jobs than we know what to do with. But what my concern is everyone says it's unfair that the insurance is paid for by the government for so many. Why shouldn't it be paid for another 62,000? We have 240,000 people on Medicaid. 300,000 actually are on Medicaid and the CHIP program. Why do we need to add another 62,000? We all know it's not going to be 62. It's going to be 100,000 plus that are going to sign up. We spend $500 million a year in the state of taxpayer money, plus another $2 billion of federal funds on Medicaid. What the heck is going on? We want to add another $400 million in federal money coming into the state. We're going to be tied to them so tightly, we won't be able to do anything. I'm betting that Brad Little, when he enters that voting booth, he's going to be voting for Medicaid expansion because he's the new leader of the cronies. He may be dressed as a Prince Charming, but when it comes to the door and he asks for your vote, I suggest you look underneath the mask and you're going to find one of the biggest cronies of all. This is not a good thing for Idaho. Jordan would be bad, and I mean really bad. But what we're going to get is another 4 years of the same nothing government.
Well, you can
a lot
go
of
back,
rules and regulations.
Right. But there was a primary.
Oh, I understand that.
And you had a very competitive race, and elections matter, as I've said to you when the governor was reelected.
Well, I think it's time the people of Idaho wake up and they start looking at who our real governing entities are and what they are.
Maybe they like it the way it is.
I doubt it very seriously. I don't think they know what's going on. I don't think they have a clue. I really don't, Kevin. You and I may have a clue, but I don't think they do.
Well, I think you have a clue. I'm always clueless. Speaking of clueless, I've got our brother coming up next, but I have to run.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too, our great friend Tea Party Bob. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. By the way, let's go to Liberal Steve. Speaking of a trick or a treat, you're going to bring us home. Good morning, sir.
Idaho. Good morning, Miller. Idaho, your President of the United States, Mr. Trump, is using this caravan for smoke and mirrors and the 14th Amendment for smoke and mirrors on the midterm elections. Do not listen to what he has to say. The class caravan, we arrested 14 people. Let's put the entire military down there to arrest another 14 people. In the 14th Amendment, he said no other country has this. Idaho, 33 other countries have the same thing if you're born in their country.